Hey guys, welcome back to Jacq of All Trades. This is episode 23, and today we are talking about something that used to get me looks. You know, the confused look with a slight head tilt. Because a few years ago, when I told people I was a multipotentialite, the response was usually, a what now? I awkwardly had to explain that no, I'm not indecisive, lost, or having an identity crisis. I just like many things, and I'm pretty good at many things. Anyway, fast forward to now, and suddenly the term multipotentialite is everywhere. TikToks, articles, podcasts, career coaches acting like they've just discovered fire. And I kinda love that for us. So, today, we are talking about the power of being a multipotentialite. What it actually means, why it's not a flaw, and why in today's world it might be your biggest advantage. Now, if you've ever had too many interests for your own good, congrats. You are probably a multipotentialite. Or, as I like to call us, multi-passionate. But for the sake of not fighting terminology today, we are sticking with multipotentialite. So, what even is a multipotentialite? In her book, How to Be Everything, Emily Wapnick defines a multipotentialite as a person who has many different interests and creative pursuits in life. It's a simple and clean term, but also wildly validating. Now, the term itself has been around since the 70s, but Emily popularized it and basically gave people like me a word to point at and say, oh, that's why I can't just pick one thing. When I first read her book, I'm not exaggerating when I say I felt seen, like someone cracked open my brain, looked inside and went, yes, chaos, but make it productive. From graduation through my mid-30s, I bounced through sales, marketing, instructional design, graphic design, training, copywriting, retail, and that's not even the full list. My LinkedIn profile looked like a career buffet. Not a carefully curated tasting menu, but a buffet. I had to deliberately omit experiences because it was just too much. And outside of work, gaming, gardening, crafting, writing, constant learning. Variety wasn't just nice, it was oxygen. I don't just enjoy exploration, I need it. So if there's a term that captures my essence, it's multipotentialite. Someone who doesn't settle for one path, but embraces the richness of many. For a long time, I thought something was wrong with me. Because we live in a world that worships specialists. You've heard it, you've felt it, Jacq of all trades, master of none. That phrase haunted me. I didn't want to be that. I wanted to master something, maybe one or two things. But here's the twist. Calling myself an expert felt wrong too. Because to me, expert sounds like I'm done learning, and I never want to stop. Now let us talk about the superpowers of multipotentialites. Emily calls them superpowers, and that word slaps way harder than quirks or weird habits, because this isn't about having a lot of hobbies, it's about how our brains work. First, idea synthesis. Multipotentialites are natural synthesizers. Think of our brains as a giant bowl of salad. Or if you're a Malaysian like me, more like rojak. A chaotic mix of everything that somehow tastes amazing. We pull ideas from wildly different fields and mash them together into something new. Basically, we are all a bunch of MacGyvers. Although, full disclosure, I'm the lazy version of MacGyver. If you are planning to pick my brain, please bring snacks or coffee, preferably both. Next, rapid learning. We don't need 10,000 hours to master something before moving on, because if that were true, multipotentialites would need to live to at least 200 years or beyond. Josh Kaufman famously said, it takes about 20 focused hours to get reasonably good at a skill. And that's exactly how we operate. We dive in, absorb, experiment, and then we move on to the next shiny thing. And in a world where industries flip upside down overnight, that's not a flaw, but a survival skill. Third, adaptability. We are career chameleons. Multipotentialites don't just pivot once, we pivot repeatedly. Sometimes in ways that look completely unconnected until you zoom out and realize every pivot added another tool to the toolbox. New project, new challenge, we are annoyingly calm about it. The fourth superpower, big picture thinking. Because we've dipped our toes into so many worlds, we see patterns others might miss. We can zoom out or connect dots. I've spent half my career in B2B, from scrappy startups to giant corporations, and the other half in B2C. That taught me how to switch hats fast, company mindset or individual mindset. Same brain, just different lens. Finally, translating between worlds. This one's underrated. Multipotentialites are translators. We explain tech to non-tech people, business to creatives, psychology to gamers. We speak multiple languages across fields. We are the bridges. Why multipotentialites matter more than ever? Look around. AI, shifting industries, jobs that didn't even exist 5 years ago. TikTok growth strategies. Being a multipotentialite isn't a weakness anymore, or at least perceived weakness. It's a competitive advantage. Where others panic at change, we adapt. Where others struggle to think outside the box, we never lived inside it. So, my friend, if you're a multipotentialite, embrace it and flaunt it even. And if you're an employer listening to this, for the love of innovation, hire one. We are not scattered, not flaky, and definitely not unfocused. We are wired for curiosity, creativity, and adaptability. Being a multi-potentialite doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're equipped. Equipped to learn fast, connect dots, and thrive in a world that refuses to sit still. So go ahead, start that side project, pick up that new skill, chase that random interest that lights you up. The world needs specialists, yes, but it desperately needs multi-potentialites. Before we wrap up, I want to share a quick moment from a few weeks ago. A good friend of mine and also a mentor asked me a very reasonable question over dinner. He asked, "So, what's the theme of your podcast?" And I paused. I could have given a clean answer, a neat answer, a very marketing approved answer. But instead, I said, it's a little bit of everything. Because that is the theme. This is a multi-passionate podcast for multi-passionate people. We talk about creativity, work, learning, gaming, life, weird thoughts, and whatever else feels relevant at the time. There's no single lane here, just curiosity, exploration, and figuring things out as we go. So, if you've ever felt like you don't quite fit into one category, welcome. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. If this episode resonated with you, do me a small favor and follow Jacq of All Trades on your podcast app. And if you know someone who proudly refuses to just pick one thing, share this episode with them. Consider it community service. Alright, that's it for episode 23. Thanks for hanging out with me. Now go embrace your many interests, chase the side quests, collect the skills. Because having one identity is overrated, and being a mess with range, that's kind of a whole brand.